I'm Matthew Embry. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 1995, and today I'm symptom-free. The first reaction I had when I was diagnosed was shock. I knew something was wrong because I had so many symptoms. What it was, I didn't know. So it was certainly shock. But our family, we didn't stay in that space for very long. We got after it. And that's how we are today. So I think that, I tell people, it's okay to go to that sad or scary place or the worry place, but set a timer. Don't stay there too long. Allow yourself to do it, but then you've got to climb out of it. Prior to being diagnosed with MS, I lived a relatively, typical. I don't like to use the word normal because I don't necessarily believe in anyone being normal. But it was, I was a young athlete. I grew up in Calgary, Alberta. Didn't have any other, major health concerns before that, and my future was ahead of me.
Well, it was a major shock. It was just, I cannot describe how it just your whole body just gets blown away. And then what got me, I assumed they might have drugs or might have something that you do this and you'll be fine. And I was shocked when the doctor said, well, we don't have any idea what causes this. We don't have anything for you. It's just you're on your own. So as soon as they said that, I said, well, we've got to do something on our own now. It's up to us.
I remember just being a little boy waking up and just wanting to get out there and get after it. But I think, my diagnosis, and I say this now, was a gift in many ways. And for me, it really accelerated that want to really take advantage of life and take advantage of what my body can do here on earth, and to try to make the best life possible. And I think that that's a perspective I have today. It's, when you start seeing how maybe bad life can get, whether that be death or serious disability or illness or however the individual wants to see that, you see that, when you wake up and you're not like that and you can live, you get after it. And I think that's been incredible because it motivates me on a day-to-day basis. I can tell it impacts the people around me, and now we're able to share that journey with people all over the world. And hopefully that helps them.
From my perspective, the best way to deal with anything is to find out the cause. Whatever's the problem, the trouble, what is the cause of that problem, and then deal with the causal factors.
Yeah, after I was diagnosed in 1995, we made significant changes. And, I was really lucky that my dad was a research scientist, and he went to the medical library and did the work, and came back, and his conclusion was that we had to take major changes in regards to my nutrition.
If you really go after things, you can often find enough information to come up with a good solution. But I've always believed in that. I've always believed in that was why we do science. At that time, the journals were not online. Like now, it's so fantastic. You can get any paper you want just by going online. Well, I had to spend many hours in the med library and copying various papers, but that was fine. That's what I had done always in my science.
That was over 26 years ago now. That I really changed my diet, my lifestyle, now using high-dose vitamin D, regular vigorous exercise, mindfulness, and that equation has put me where I am today.
So it's just important to be able to put the information out there, and it's hard for people to know what to trust because there's a lot of nonsense out there. That's what amazed me, of all the nonsense that was actually out there. And so I understand why people do only want to go to their doctor because they feel, okay, that's going to be the only information I can trust. And I understand that. But there is other information out there that you can trust. We set up our first website of the charity in 1996. We had the website before the MS Society had a website. We were right on top of it. As soon as we were doing everything you possibly could on the internet at that time, because I knew that was the best way to get the word out there. Provide people with the information, and they can make an informed choice of what they want to do with their MS. Yeah.
And multiple sclerosis is the flashpoint, but I really think that the story is for pretty much anybody dealing with any illness, because it's really about learning the ability to advocate for oneself. I think, you know, sometimes we can live in a world where we think help is on the way and that the system is going to help us, and that's true to an extent. There's certainly, there's no question, people will reach out and help you, but largely it's on the individual. And so you really have to do the work and with the people around you to get after your own health. And I think what we try to demonstrate is that the steps to do that have to be real world steps and action for people. So that's nutrition, that's exercise, that's mindfulness, it's vitamin D and supplements. But each of those things allow someone to start taking control of their own health. So for people to achieve optimal health or to overcome illness, it's going to be a combination of obviously dealing with medical professionals, but there's also a huge accountability on the person who's been diagnosed with something, whether it be MS or anything, to pursue that optimal health.
Yeah, well, for first I thought, you know, that I got all this information, I'll share it with the MS Society and they'd be very happy and to share with their members. I thought that would be one way to channel it, but I was absolutely shocked that they were not interested at all. And then I realized that there is not a strong interest in non-drug therapies. And I feel fine about that. That's what the medical pharmaceutical complex does. So I do have a real problem with any doctors, scientists, charities receiving money from a company like a drug company that has a monetary interest in what you put out there. So that does bother me as a scientist, that you cannot do good scientists if you're compromised by money.
You know, I get messages, not daily, but at least 3-4 times a week of people whose lives have been impacted by the documentary and the website and the work my dad has done, the work my mother has done, and the work that we're continuing to do today. The most dramatic that ever happened to me, you know, in real life is I had gone to an MS support group and I'd given just a very informal talk to people. And then about a year and a half, 2 years later, I was at a farmer's market and this woman came up to me and she's like, hey, look at me. And I had no idea who it was, but it was a woman from there who was once using a walker. She'd lost all this weight and she was walking. She didn't have a walker anymore. I was stunned. I couldn't believe it. You know, and since she walked off on her way, and my family was there, and and that was probably the most dramatic real world. But I certainly get photos sent to me and emails and messages, and my dad, I think it's something the same.
And I'm really proud of him, that how he's now gone out and been such an ambassador for the whole concepts. He's really, like, we were trying, but we didn't get very far. And when Matthew got involved, then that was a game changer for our goal of getting the information out there. So I was always so impressed and amazed at his ability to know the best ways of doing things, and well, we got to do this, we should do that. Okay, and it almost always he was right. Yeah.
The good life is enjoying the now. And I think if you can really capture the now and see the beauty in what's in front of you, what's manifesting right in front of you in the moment, and that's a hard thing to do because the past and the future will pull you, your mind and distract you. But if you can exist in that space and if your actions and your words, if they're positive and they're building a beautiful world, that's just going to continue. And every human being has access and the ability to do that right now. So when you're watching this interview, you can make the choice right now to see it as something beautiful, and your computer, whatever, however you're watching it, as a beautiful experience, and then keep going.